Well, hey friends, welcome back to Journals for Breakfast. My name is Andrea. You're super welcome here. Okay, this video is a deep dive into my traveler's passport notebook. Who is this video for today? I think anyone who has a traveler's passport size will be interested. I love watching people utilizing notebooks and journals and tools that I have and just kind of seeing how they set them up and how they handle them. So I think anybody that's got a passport size could be interested in what's happening today. Maybe you had a passport, purchased one from the traveler's company because it was a special release or a new color or something like that, and then kind of lost your mojo on it or never got it started. Maybe this will help spark some interest there or give you some thoughts about ways to use it. So yeah, if you kind of fell off the bandwagon of your passport, this might encourage you to jump back in. And yeah, I think it's just fun to see the different tools and accessories and things that go with them as well. I actually recorded this video, I think yesterday and the day before, and it's a long one. What I'll recommend you do is get a delicious beverage, get out your passport stuff. If you have a cover, if you have inserts, if you have long set aside and ignored journal entries, pull it all together and let's just take a look at passports together and have some fun with this tool. But I was rewatching some of this as I was putting it together for editing, and I realized a couple quick things. I mentioned in the early part of this video that I actually have two passports, that I have one that is my pocket brain and one that is devoted to collage. And I said in that moment, maybe we'll do a video down the road where we do a tour of the collage one. It's in this video. So you're going to hear me say that. And if you are already tired of looking at me fiddling around with this passport and just want to get to some collage tour, you could fast forward to when you see this green book show up on your screen. I have two collage notebooks that are from this notebook that we do a full tour of towards the end of this video. So I hope you'll enjoy that. And what else was I going to mention? I can't figure out my pin setup while I'm setting up the passport for you guys. And after I filmed yesterday, I went, oh yeah, I remember what I did. I took a Tombow marker, wrapped some tape around it to change the size of it a little bit, and slid that in. And this has actually worked really well for me in this passport. Because I'm working on this brown craft paper, which you'll see as you get through this video. And that black marker works really well on that. I prefer working in pencil when I'm doing something calendar related. And I do use a pencil for the calendar insert in here because if I change something, which happens often with me, I want to erase it. I just want it out of there. I don't want crossouts and whiteout and etc. The pencil that I mentioned in here is this mechanical pencil. And I did, in fact, take a look, and this is a 0.03. I have a 0.05 also, and I want to go find one of my even older ones and figure out what size it is. And then at some point, I'll do a little test. And in our next video together, I'll let you know if what was going wrong with the lead in this is that I just ordered a size that was far too fine for my needs. That'll make more sense as you watch this video. The craft room redo, I mean, look at it. It's such a disaster behind me, isn't it? There's just so much stuff. But believe it or not, I really tidied up in here. And one of the things that I did was move my tables. So I'm going to show you some photos and do a little voiceover at the end that shows you a little bit about what I shifted around with these tables. But I opened them out. So let's see if I can show you this. Sorry, it's a mess in here, but see, so instead of having this big cube that was here, I opened them out and now I can slide myself in and up to and work on this big station, and this kick out here is working well for just storing stuff that I'm working on at the moment. So I'll do some of that towards the end of this as well. So here's what I have to say about this video. I have no idea how interested in this you will be. It turned out to be maybe 35 to 40 minutes of just me fiddling around with this book, but I love where I got it, and I'm so happy to have it back in my rotation. I had it with me by the couch last night and just really enjoyed creating some quick to-do lists for today I'm wearing this old wrinkly shirt because it is a housekeeping day. I've got to get some chores done. It was really nice to get that to-do list in there. And yeah, I'm just happy to have it back in my rotation. So I hope you'll enjoy. I will join you on the back end. If all you're really curious about is collage, just fast forward until you see the green and then stop there and you'll get a collage tour. And let's do a card reading. I've had so much fun reading cards. Look at this pretty bag for my tarot cards that I got. Isn't that beautiful? So let's take a look at this bag. Let's take a look at the decks that are in here and let's pull a card. I've just been getting the most encouraging cards lately, and they're all just about focusing on your dreams and staying true to yourself. And now is the time to make new things happen. It's been really fun. So let's do a pull together at the end of this. I'm so happy you're here. Enjoy some passport time. Okay, so here we are with my little favorite pocket brain, such as I call it. This is my traveler's notebook, passport size. What is travelers about this is this particular insert here. This is actually from the Travelers Company. This is their undated monthly, which is one of my favorite inserts from that company. And Traveler's Notebook does the standard TN, which is long and tall. It looks a little bit more like this. This is not from Traveler's Company, but their standard Traveler's Notebook tends to be this kind of long deal. And then they came out with this passport version, which is so called because it is the size of a passport. And I suppose people probably put their passports in them at some point, but it is passport size. And I love this little guy because he is a size that I can carry with me. I have two main purses that I carry. They're actually the same shape, size, style, and brand, and they both convert to backpack or crossbody. One is the maxi, it's bigger, and one is the mini, and this fits in both, which makes me really happy. So Travelers Notebook Company passport size is what we're going to be looking at today. And this little pocket brain has been such a handy tool for me. I pieced him together. I feel confident that it was around January of 22, but it might have been January of 23. And for the most part, he's one of my most used in and out of planner slash art slash kind of brain dump slash to-do list slash calendar tools that I use. For comparison purposes, I'll show you my A5, right? Which is also my everything brain. It's just a big version of it. This can go with me. This tends to stay here. This does go with me if I'm going to like a meeting or something like that. I'll put that in my tote bag and take my Big Daddy with me. This has my A5 size Hobonichi Techo cousin of Vec, which we've seen here many times. You can watch lots of vids below about him. Hobonichi Techo cousin, and this is the Avec, so it's split into 6-month segments. And yeah, so that big planner's back here, and then I also have some notebooks in here, some pockets full of stuff. So just even at a glance, you can kind of tell that this is the mini me of that. So we have calendar, pockets, notebooks, artwork, all kinds of stuff, quotes, to-do lists. So there he is. And I have not been messing with him much lately. My schedule has changed so dramatically, but I really was missing having hands on him. And I really like having this notebook with me at night. When we're watching ball games or something like that, when I have a little quote that I want to think about or a to-do list or a don't forget, it's so handy to just jot it into this. So I thought it would be fun to kind of pull him apart and rework him today. I've done this on this channel before, but it evolves. Like all of our journaling and planning tools, they evolve over time. I think as our own schedules evolve, our lifestyles evolve, seasons, who knows what. So that's the plan. We're going to take a look at him together, take him apart and put him back together and see if I can get him back into my daily rotation. Okay, so let's take him apart now and see what we think. first and foremost, let's talk about this pencil. I showed you guys this brand here another time. Trying to get a focus for you. And there it is, the Kuratoga. And I really loved this pencil for a while, and now I don't. I don't know if I ordered the wrong size, like this 0.03 compared to, I wonder if I have another one around that I can compare it to. But what I can tell you is that this lead is too thin. Snap, snap, snap. So not only is it snapping like crazy, which this brand's leads were not doing. So I am going to check to see if this is about this size 0.03 or if they changed something. But also it is such a fine pencil lead that it tears the paper that I try to write on. And I cannot use it in my Hobonichi because of that. That paper, you know, that film, this just, I don't know, the viscosity of that paper won't take this pencil. It just tears right through it. So that has been a huge disappointment. So I loved this color. It was this cool kind of rougey lipsticky color, and it's got to go. It's not working in any of my journals. Even if it doesn't tear the paper, the snap of that lead is making me nuts. So that's a goner. We'll get rid of that. And then let's open this guy up and take a good look at all the components in here, take them apart, and then I'm really excited to put them back together. Real quick, I'll show you what inspired this a little bit. Is this. I did that big clean out on the craft room and organized all my bins over there and discovered that I had this just collection of Traveler's Passport size. Now, they're not all Traveler's Passport brand, but they all fit in that basic size range. So the ones that I have that are actually Traveler's brand are craft paper, little insert. This one was meant to be sketch paper, and it is kind of sketchy. I think I tried watercolor on it and wasn't totally in love, but definitely good for sketch. It's almost like cardstock level. So yeah, you could do great collage and stuff like that on it. It would handle markers and things really well. And this is my favorite dot grid, and I use these for my to-do list. So we'll look at that. That's probably something I need to add to my setup. I think I'm out of that, but we'll double check that. I love the dot grid in the actual Travelers. Another actual Travelers piece is this, which is, it opens up if my fingers will work. So it's a zip pocket on one side and then card holder and card holder on the other, and you just slide that in. I'll show you that. I do have one of those already in my system. This is not from Travelers. This is from a Etsy seller, and I mentioned this to you guys before. I saw somebody do something with these right here. There's a purpose for that, and I lost it. I can't remember what it is now. Obviously, you can just slide a card or anything in there, but there was an actual purpose for that. If you know what it is, please tell me. So those are Travelers size specific, but this also has a lot of an actual Travelers company specific, except for that last one. But a lot of notebooks just happen to be pretty close to that passport size. And so when I spot those, I'll grab them. And look how cool that one is. And I've used this in my passport setup before. You can see where I've taken pages out. So I have used it and then put it away, and then I pull it back out. So it's so cool. Another formula that works really well for passport is this brand, this Master's Touch brand from big box art stores. $5 for 4. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of these pads. These are sketch pads that, as it turns out, I absolutely love for collage. They do really great for collage, and they hold up to markers really well. Like here's a little collage, here's a little collage, but they do well for sketches. This is me laying out sort of ideas in the garden, but I think they also do really well for watercolor and things like that too. We'll find more of those that are filled in. This one might be all collage. No, this is a mix. To-dos, collage, quotes. But I like this paper a lot. And these work well. They're not technically an exact match of passport. They're a little bit longer, but they fit really well in my passport size setup. It's I'll be adding probably a completely blank one of these as well. I hang on to all these old ones. I bet you I can spot the first one I ever did pretty quickly, to be honest with you. But I hang on to all these old ones because I do so much artwork on them that I don't want to let them go. I need this rubber band. I'm gonna steal this band off of here. That doesn't need to stay there. This was just a calendar, but I like the artwork that I put in them, so I save them. Plus, I kind of like to hang on to calendars. Do you? Do you hang on to your old planners and calendars? I think they're really fun. When I was curing myself from burnout, my old calendars were really helpful to me because I was really able to see how far gone the workaholism had gotten just by looking at those old calendars. So I really like to hang on to them. But this, like, see, that's just artwork. I don't want to let that go. I said I'd be able to tell at a glance where my first one was, and now I can't find it. He may be in a stack over here. Anyway, that's what this is. It's a bunch. Oh, there he is. This was the very first one I ever did. And you can see it's not really my style, is it? Like a big sticker and then a lot of blank space. It starts to evolve into something that becomes more of what you know of as my sort of style of collage as he moves along. But this was the very first thing I ever decorated for a passport size insert, and this was obviously a calendar insert. And this is not that sketch pad that I was talking about. This is just an actual piece of watercolor paper that I taped in there. So yeah, I like to hang on to these. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is the big clean out made me realize how many cool inserts I have or have had, and it really made me itch to get this guy reset. So that's what we're gonna do. Let's move that out of the way and move him back, and let's take a look at what we got going here. So in my system, I have two systems, and I showed you guys this in a previous video about this passport size, but I also showed you that in my A5, right? And at a glance, as I've said many times, my A5 is a big version of my little pocket brain calendar. Just happens to be an A5 Techo and another soft cover insert that has more bands and allows for notebooks and zipper pockets and collage work and photos, right? Big Daddy. Handheld size, same idea. So we'll pull them apart. And the first thing that we'll take out of here is the system that's in the system. But I think we'll just start pulling notebooks just to make things a little simpler for me. So like this is a notebook. Let's get him out, and then we'll set them aside and put it all back together so you can see how I do this. I do struggle a little with these bands. My fingers are slippery. They always slip off of them. Okay, this is a system. You could buy this on Etsy. Unfortunately, this particular seller shop seems to have closed, so I'm not going to worry about trying to link it. But if you look, Traveler's Passport Cover System, you will find lots of sellers who do these in leather, in vegan leather. This one happens to be kind of a hard, something like a fabric-y paper. It's pretty cool. And what she's got here for you is a cover with two bands. And then this hole is where you would put this band with this little toggle. The toggle would come through here. The rubber band would come out the back, and it forms a wraparound like that. Okay. I don't have it installed in this because it's not needed in the way that I'm using it. So that just sits off to the side. It has a back pocket that you can't see because I have artwork all over it. It has a back pocket, has a front pocket with another front pocket. So that in of itself could just be all that you get for your passport system, your traveler's notebook passport sizes. You could put in here a craft paper insert from Traveler's Company and choose to do with it as you like. Write down quotes, to-do lists, clip out projects you'd like to attempt, whatever you'd like to do with it. And then slide that in. And then something practical that could go in here I'm stealing from this other one, would be something like a calendar. And this is the Traveler's Notebook Company. And this is their free diary monthly. What that means is that it's undated. And I love that. So if you want to skip a month, you can. You don't have to backfill. So you could put one of these in here as well. So I'll show you what I just did. She has one band here. I dropped this notebook into it. Now I'm going to use a rubber band, like that one I stole out of that bucket, and attach these two covers together here. And now I have a notebook system that has two notebooks in it. So this one is a calendar. This one is whatever you'd like for it to be. Then you close it, you've added your little toggle wrap around, and that's your entire system right there. So that's certainly a way to go with it. Let's set him aside for a moment. We'll come back to him. This is also its own, system, essentially. This one is by Windrose Custom Goods. I'll pull out what I have stuck in here at the moment so you can see how it comes. Pull this out. This is leather instead of fabricy paper. So it was more expensive, but I absolutely love it. I love the patinas on it. I put stickers and stuff on it, and then I peel them off later when I get tired of the look. And I just use my hands to just kind of rub in, and eventually that all fades back together. I love how beat up this gets in time. This is from Windrose Custom Goods, and that is out of North Carolina, and they're an Etsy shop I really enjoy. I've shared them many times with you. So this particular one has two rubber bands inside. This paper one had one. This has two. And I will give you a side note, Windrose Custom Goods, you can add more bands. So when I did my big A5, this one, I asked her to put 3 bands in it. Gosh, maybe even 4. And then I asked for an extra inch of material because I knew with 4 bands and all those notebooks, this was going to be a really wide wraparound. And so she has an option where you can add additional length as far as around it goes. And that's what I did, an extra inch plus an extra 2 bands. And man, I got a lot of stuff in here. So in this case, I just did the 2 that comes with it. There was nothing custom about that. And then I picked her pockets based on her customization options on her website on Etsy. And I love this system. You could easily make this your whole system. So you drop in a little traveler's notebook. This is a dot grid. Remember I was telling you how much I love that dot grid. See the dots? This has become a little reading. It's not really even a reading journal. It's literally just a list of what I'm reading right now so I don't forget. And then you could drop in a little art notebook. My eyes are trying to find that other band. You probably can see it and are like, it's right there. Okay, so there's your little system. Doesn't have to be giant like mine. If you wanted to add in something more practical, like a pocket guy, you can do that with a rubber band too. Just take a rubber band and bring 2 ends together. So the back of this pocket and the front of this book, and just drop those in there. And now you have a little storage pocket, some photos, your reading journal, your quotes and artwork that are making you happy right now. And there's a little system there. So they're super duper customizable to whatever feels right for you. And what feels right for you changes because we all change. Seasons change, schedules change, our needs change. And that's one of the things I've most loved about this. But I'll be honest with you, don't you get bored with the same thing over and over sometimes? I know I do. And so I think that's a really nice thing about this too, is I can keep it fresh and keep it exciting. And I stopped using him a bit, not for any super practical reason. It just fell out of my day-to-day for a while, and I've really missed it. I love having this guy right in my hands when we're watching TV at night and just jotting down to-dos, or even sometimes I just flip through and look at my own artwork, read a pretty quote. Yeah, I just love having him around. So we're going to get him back in in action. This little list, by the way, this is not my reading journal. As y'all know, you've seen my reading journal, but what it is a list of everything I've read so far this year, because I'm here to tell you, I will forget. Like if I'm at book club and they say, hey, what did you read that wasn't book club last month? I got to look back here because I will totally forget. So that's all this is just a little point of reference for me. And I've just been keeping him tucked in the back of this. So let's take a look at what we have to play with here and have some fun rebuilding him. Okay, I decided to take a seat too. I'm tired of standing. Let's see what we're missing. So what's currently in here, we'll flip through. This one is just a little art and quotes journal that I've kept, and I really love it. If I see a quote that means something to me, often this is where it ends up. Just a little place to keep those thoughts. This was just some fun collaging one afternoon. I actually think I did this in my journal workshop at my studio when I was teaching journaling classes as an example of collage as journaling. But I know this may sound kind of insane, but I literally keep this with me because it's pretty. It's just something fun to look at. I mean, I think, right? Isn't that kind of how Instagram got started? You opened it up and then scrolled through pretty images of things. Pinterest is the same way. This is like my little paper Pinterest. I just have pretty images here that fill my eyes with pretty things. I'll tell you a trick about this is that sometimes if I'm in a stressful situation, like if I'm in the waiting room for a procedure that I am not particularly looking forward to, I will put the phone away and instead get this out. And yes, I might read a calming quote, but just the imagery filling my eyes with my own soothing work, my own art. It's just familiar to me. It feels like home, right? And so it can just literally take my resting heart rate down. And I just really love that about it. So that's what I mean about kind of keeping this with me, like by the couch at night or, keeping it with me. I carry it in either purse that I'm out with at any point in the day. There's a comfort factor to it. You know what's funny about that too? Somebody asked me, how come it's a he? And I don't know that he actually holds any real gender, except to say I was doing some thinking about that. And this is to me such kind of a comfort journal, um, that and he feels so comforting in my hands. I think this is kind of the journaler slash grown up version of a stuffed animal. And my absolute favorite stuffed animal as a little kid was a stuffed monkey, and his name was Bordeaux. And he was definitely a he. There was no question about it. And Bordeaux, my monkey, I named him Bordeaux because that was my favorite Pepperidge Farm cookie at the time. And Bordeaux the monkey went absolutely everywhere with me. And I think somehow that probably locked into my head, um, that that he, terminology. So when I mentioned that I really like having him near me or him in my hands, don't you think it probably stems back from that in some way? Because he is essentially my comfort blanket. And that's what I mean about being like in a waiting room for a procedure that you're nervous about or something like that. Like it's just so lovely to have this artwork. So this is 100% going in. Although I will say, I don't want to forget about this guy. I like to put my systems in first and then fill them. So let's put this empty system onto one of these bands. And you can see that I tangled these bands. That's me, not Windrose. I did that. I broke one and then tied it funny and then it tangled them up. Ignore that. That won't happen to yours. That was me abusing mine. Okay. So when I first opened this up, I do like the kind of serenity of just having that cover there. So I'm actually going to put this pretty thing inside of here. I still have access to the cover. I can still see it's pretty artwork, right? But just when I first open up, I just get that pretty kind of moon and stars, navy blue. It's calming. I like it. Put that there. Now I have these other bands. And I think what I'm going to do is try to keep some continuity to the concept that what's in this blue one is about collage or art or quotes. So like I don't want to put my calendar in here. So this is the calendar. Let's pull him away from that. That's the calendar. This is another one. Commonplace journaling. I did a little video about that, and I knew it would be mildly controversial because the thing about commonplace journaling is that I personally feel like it has sort of divided itself into two schools at this point in time. For a long time, the original concept behind a commonplace journal was that it was a notebook that would be carried around where you kept important quotes that you didn't want to forget. Remember, if you were a Victorian and had a library and were reading books, you did not have Google to reference those back when you went out to dinner next week and quote them out to your friends. You had to memorize them or have them available to you in some way. And that was really kind of where that begins. But to be honest with you, where commonplacing really begins, one of the earliest versions of it, think about Leonardo da Vinci's diaries, right? That combination of sketches, you can picture, right, the man, and the anatomy laid out, or his celestial sketches, and also mathematics, and also quotes, and also art projects. It's just sort of culmination that I think I would personally refer to as a brain dump. That was a very sort of commonplace version. In time, commonplacing gets an indexing system. And I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but you'll know who he is. There is a guy who invents this indexing system, and suddenly commonplacing was about indexing all of the material that you were trying to digest. So if you're a med student trying to maintain notes and needed an indexing system for those notes, you would create a commonplace planner / notebook for that index system. That was boring for me to just say. I can't imagine actually doing it. I'm back. I'm down with like Leonardo da Vinci and the brain dump commonplacer. And I think, like any system out there, if you want to stick with hard, steadfast rules, do it. But I believe, like a buffet, you take what is most appealing to you. And what's appealing to me about the idea of commonplacing is this: scraps, snippets, images, quotes, to-do lists. That's what I love. So this is my little commonplacer, and I'm going to put him in here because he's a combination of to-do, which is semi-functional, just scribble out what needs to be done on Saturday. But also, this is really a place where I just keep pretty images too. So this beautiful little thing has all artwork and quotes, and then a little bit of a commonplacer. I think that's a nice combo there. I do have a calendar that is my monthly that I like to just at a glance at least know some basics that are going on. I told you that this is a big part of my burnout cure, was learning how to put buffers between social events specifically. That's what really wears me out more than anything, is being around multiple people, or even a one-on-one. I can do a one-on-one lunch with somebody on Sunday, but I can't also meet somebody out for dinner that night. To me, that would be brain breakingly challenging. So I like to space those out. And so yeah, a calendar where I can just look at things at a glance is the way to do that. And this one really needs to be filled in. So I'm going to put that back here. Oh, see, that's that band I mistied. And you know what? Let's retie him a better way, since he untied for me while you're here. And what I think I'll probably do with this is not Windrose's fault. I really abused the strength that I was asking for from this system. I'm going to probably put a dab of fabric glue on this time around to kind of secure him a little bit better. So ignore the man behind the curtain. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's throw this in here because this is our calendar, and we want a calendar in this book for sure. But now I got to figure out, like, do I need another little folder? Do I want to get this manifest? Maybe I should get this manifest diary going again. That feels right now. So I think I'm going to do it. This is the one that I was telling you are these pads. You get 4 of them for $5 at the big box art store. And I've really liked them. They are not amazing watercolor quality paper, but you absolutely can watercolor on them. Let me find a watercolor book for you. Here's one that I did some test painting in. So it will take water. like this is not going to be, I don't know, professional level watercolor paper, but this one has watercolor and collage on it. So it took glue and paint and it didn't even really bleed through, right? Started a little pen sketch just to kind of see, and sure enough, it doesn't bleed through. So this paper, I'm pretty impressed for a little cheap sketchbook. This is handy paper. This one, again, I was just putting water on there just to see what it would do. So I've been really happy with these, and I've done a lot of collage work in those two. I have another notebook that is just collage in these notebooks. I'll show you that maybe in the next video if you'd like to see it. But it looks like I had some goals in mind: health, body, calm mind, clear work. Boy, I've done that. Focus, art and work, settled, home and work, 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 psh, gone, done, sold my business. Spiritual journey always, and then garden life. I really want to try to get some gardening going, and that goes on hold here in the summer. You just can't even pretend that you are going to be a gardener in Florida in the summer. It is so hot out there. It's actually dangerously hot. I don't say that to be over dramatic, but I've gotten heat stroke here multiple summers, and it happened again this year. And all I was doing was running errands. I wasn't even outside, like working in the yard. Okay. I'm going to clip him to him just to have a place to put him to start. And then usually, yeah, see, you can tell I already had him clipped in here because there's a little tear there. He usually will just slide home. Actually, I wonder if he should go hard into this. He probably should. Let's pull this out. So as you can see, unpracticed assembly of passport for your viewing pleasure. I always think it's interesting to see how people piece their things together, though. And I think, like all journalers, we all have journals that go into hibernation for a little while. There's no shame in that, I assure you. And now what I think I'll do is put these two covers together with a rubber band like this. And so sometimes when you watch a video of somebody like getting out a system that you have but haven't used for a while, can really encourage you to get going again. So yeah, I think that works for now. And I don't know what that was, so we'll have to redo this cover. Not impressed with my cover art there whatsoever. And let's see how he does fold it up. And you can see now why my little elastic was so loose for a minute, and that's because he's really stretched out from how much I tend to put in there. And this charm with the little A on it, I got from an Etsy seller as well. Again, unsure who, but there's so many good ones out there. You'll find somebody. Yeah, I like that as a starting point combo for now. Let's see how he looks when I work through him. If I open him up, let's put a little bit of art in here. This is a paint chip from Home Depot. And I wrote on there a daily prayer: grant me the grace to love the now, release the past. And then this sticker already had this on it. It says to have peace in better days. So I wrote the opening to match up with this. A daily prayer: grant me the grace to love the now, release the past, and to have peace in better days. And then the back one: you shouldn't wish for something you want to last forever. This is just a reminder that life is always moving, and embrace the now. We get stuck in worrying that what's going well will go away. That is getting trapped in the future. And so we're just sort of focusing on being in the now. Anyway, this is a paint chip from Home Depot, and I just glued two together and made a little bookmark out of it. But I like these because I can just tuck them in and then have a little artwork there. So here's this blue cover, this little plastic ruler. This is a bookmark, but it was such a pretty little swatch that I've just kept it in all my notebooks because I think it's pretty. Some artwork here, little collaging action here. This is running out of pages. This little notebook is from Just G Paper Company. And I feel like I have another. I do. Look, here's another of hers. Isn't this pretty with all the pinks? Oh, that's going to be so pretty. This one had, this particular one had a lot of these blacks and grays, which was really fun. I enjoyed working on that. I used the jelly roll pens on this in obviously white, but they come in other colors too. And so they really stand out on that gray paper. Just G Paper Company. She's on Etsy. I've bought from her a few times and I really like her. So I'm due to do a collage inside of this to cover that spinner. And I have a few more pages left for some quotes in here, but he'll probably be finished up by the end of this month or so. And then I will add him to the bucket of completed journals and throw this pretty pink version in there. And because that's coming up, I actually might just tuck him in there. Know that he's got a home soon. Then let's see. Did we look through this one? Oh, this was the craft paper. This is definitely my kind of to-do and brain dump. And so I'll get that going again. And I do sometimes highlight, here we go, these pages, mark these pages with a little tab to remind myself that like this is where I'm starting. All my to-do lists up to here are done. And then add a little tab marker there so I can find him easily. And then we have my monthly calendar, which is definitely due for some artwork in here. And I do need to fill it in. I didn't even get October completely filled. And then I've got this guy in here. I'm going to think about him. Right now, I kind of don't hate that he's there. I wonder if, let's see something. I wonder if we do better snapping our little book reminder. Yeah, we might. Let's try that. It's just a little floppity over here. Is that a word? Floppity? I think it is. Let's put these two together like this. Yeah. Let's do that. Pull this off. Put these two together here. Put this book here. Put this book here. Let's just tuck him in back here. I think that's a better fit, don't you? Now I have my calendar. I have my quick little book reference. What am I reading right this minute? Which actually has already changed. I just finished Flashlight by Susan Choi, and I highly recommend it. It was excellent. And now I've got this little art book. And actually, this will be better as a pop out because I will lay him flat and do some artwork in him. So, and then I can just enjoy him. Oh, by the way, these little clear pockets that I put on the back, I love these because I can drop obviously something useful in here, like a couple stickers or something, but I also can do a small piece of artwork and stick it in here. Yeah, so I think they're just handy. And as far as like changing out the cover, if I want this to be a springtime piece of art or a Christmas piece of art, right, I can just pop it in and out of that little pocket. So I love those clear pockets. You can get those on Amazon, and you'll find as you look through my journals with me over time, you'll spot them in a lot of different places. I think that's a better setup. And then I can just pop him out in the mornings with coffee to do a little collage work. These guys are pretty well tucked in. This guy's pretty well tucked in. Let's see how he did. Yeah, chonk. That's how I like it. Chonky. Now, the question here is, what am I going to do about a pen? Because my pencil is not working. I do have a couple of fountain pens that are not being well used at the moment. So much so that I actually need to think about where they are. This one I got in a set with Beam Paints, and I really love it. It's this like mocha caramel color or mocha latte color, and I have this little piece of tape rolled around it. Because it doesn't always fit in my pin loops. They get a little loose, but because I've done that, it's too big for this one. So I'm going to leave it with the one that it works with now. So yeah, I have a few more fountain pens I need to think about trying to locate and put into this. That's funny. I'll have to figure out what pen set they're in. I love these pens, the pencils. These are Black Wings, but I think, yeah, see, but he's too small. I could definitely roll some tape around him and fatten them up a little bit and get them to grab. So pen questions, I don't know. One thing I liked about this is that clip is there, but actually the size of him is really good for this particular pen loop. It just happens to grab. So I'm going to double check that. Is this about the size? Did I just order too fine a nib and not realize it? That's possible because those are basically pretty good. Were in the past my favorite mechanical pencils. Not pretty good, excellent. So we'll see. I don't know. It's feeling a little on the chonk side. What happens if we take this out and fold? Is that a little bit better? That is a little bit better. Yeah, that works a little bit nicer. So Just G will have to hang on and get back to her. But at the moment, I think that gives me some nice play. And of course, this is pretty fat too because he's pretty full. When I go to replace him, he'll tamp down a little bit. Just debating this little book here. I really do like this one. Is he what makes this so fat? No, he's not, because that works. What happens when he goes into the front pocket? That's not terrible. And that actually might help me stretch it out a little bit. What happens when he goes into the front pocket? If we tuck him in here at this angle, and he goes into his back pocket where he was. But I mean, for a little system, you can really get some stuff in there, can't you? I don't know. I might live with that for a little while. I don't know that I hate that. Let's live with it. We'll see how we do. Pocket Brain, brain dump. He just has so much good stuff in him for me. And just enjoyable. I just really love having them in my hands and using them and writing things down, great quotes, etc. So there is that one. And again, I'll just set him next to his little A5 brother, cousin, friend. Same idea. Just jumbo mini. And there's just something so comforting about being able to keep this guy with me wherever I go. I'm wondering too, I feel like I didn't love this sketch paper, but do I like it enough that the correct size makes it worth his while? Let's see. So you'll have to let me know if you're using a passport, what you do with it. Is yours tiny? Is it like, a lot of people use it as a wallet? They have like a calendar, a to-do list, and a little zip bag thingy, and they just use it like a little wallet. So that could be for art. It's a little tidier. Now, is there room for the book journal in there too? And I am like the queen of jamming stuff in here. So let's see. But a lot of people keep this little passport system so tidy and neat. It's actually technically their wallet. That is not me. I can tell you that. That's a little better, isn't it? I mean, not a surprise that a passport, an actual traveler's passport company notebook works better in here. Let's try it. But you can see, like, I've really stretched this out. I have this one. I wonder if this one will fit on this. It's not from this system. Yeah, it's a little tighter. So I may do a switch out on that band. Does she have to take the whole thing apart to do that is the question. That's knotted in there nicely. Oh, you know what I could do? Is just tighten that knot, couldn't I? Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Let's just tighten it and see what happens. And I will not fabric glue it because I don't want that to be permanent. Let's just see if tying the second knot in there does the trick of giving me a little bit of tightness around this. Yeah, that worked beautifully. Look at that. All right. So there it is, me fidgeting with a passport. I hope you enjoyed it. I love watching people put their systems together. And I will keep you posted on the artwork that goes on in this guy. And Yeah, like I said, let me know how you're using yours. What is your system? What do you like? Oh, you know what didn't end up in here was this little pocket guy, did he? But I think now that I tidied that down a little, there is room for him. So these are photos. This is Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's the funniest show on TV. These are pictures of my sweet little dog. Like, remember in high school when you used to keep photos in your Liz Claiborne wallet? I cannot be the only one who has that memory. Little cards with notes to myself. This is a little manifestation of a dream business I would like to own. And then um, clean your glasses, stickers, quotes, and then more just kind of useful stickers, that sort of thing. Let's see if we can find a spot for him in here while we're at it, since I do like it. Is there some looseness around here where he could go? We feel like that's as fat as that can get. Maybe. Can we get... Didn't he have... Yeah. Let's see if we throw him in here. I could see you could, using this as a wallet, but one thing, I very rarely carry cash. And two, my wallet is tiny. It's just a little card, little card holder with my cards in it. And I just slip it in and out of whatever bag. Are you a bag changer? I tend to be in 3 or 4 different bags in any given week. I'm always shifting around. So I like a wallet that just moves. Did that cause problems or did that work? I think that worked out just fine. Yeah, I like it a lot. Okay, I'm going to live with it. Let's see what we think about it. I'll give you an update on that in the next video. Hey, okay, guess what? I went out for a walk and I had a little oh duh moment. This is another Traveler's Passport cover from Windrose Custom Goods in this really pretty green. In here are 2 of those artist notebooks that we were talking about from the big box store. And this entire journal setup I have used as a place to house collage and nothing else. So let's pull them apart. What I'm thinking is there's a rubber band I could use for something else. That doesn't need to be there. I'm thinking that these guys might be kind of snooty and uppity, and they fit in the Traveler's Passport setup, but they like to play with each other, not with other sizes. Because as fat and chunked out as they are, 2 of them, that fat actually will fit into this booklet. Look at that. So I think it was just trying to get them to work with the other inserts in here, the true Traveler's size. He was misbehaving. But if we keep them on their own, we can create a book that is just artwork and collage. That's what I think. So this particular one, this is the first collage that I ever start doing, and it was in fact 2023. It was January of 2023. And you can see right away that it looks very different than my current collage. I think it does. In one aspect, there's a lot of like really literal stickers, and I don't really do that so much these days. And it's a little, all my collage is pretty, out there, but this is pretty messy. But I was just practicing, experimenting with the concept of making moving parts, of using the pieces that I had. And yeah, so I don't know, Bon Voyage, Paris, like that's weird to me now. But at the time, I was just creating. And I was learning to make pockets. And this is when I started to get really into leaving myself little notes. 2023 was the year of the rabbit, PS, which is why you'll see a lot of rabbit stamps throughout this, even an wax stamp that's a rabbit that I bought. This is where the collage starts to really begin. Dolly Parton, I feel like this is movable in some way. Here it is. This opens out. See how it's kind of raised up? I was playing with a lot of like textures and puffed out things. I don't really do that as much anymore. Everything kind of folds and moves. So this is really fun. This is where it all begins. You can hear this paper cracking and crunching because it has so much glue on it. It was a really fun time to get to know this practice. And I really enjoyed it. Mine start to tamp down a little bit. They tone down in various ways as I move forward, but this was the beginning of it all. And it was in one of these, you know, big box store arts and crafts sketchbooks. They're so good for this kind of thing. They really hold a lot of glue. Different textured papers. So I was really just learning my craft at this point, 2023. I don't know up to that point if I'd ever made a collage in my life. I mean, maybe in arts and crafts class in school we were required to. I don't know where this comes from. I sat down one day and started and could not stop. I just instantly knew I had found something that just was working for me. It's hard to explain that kind of impulse, but it just showed up and there it was. So I really do cherish these, but I will probably move this notebook out of here. I think what happened is I stalled out on this particular notebook and still have a few pages, and I wanted to finish it up. So I think that was the first watercolor that I ever did in like my adult life. Okay, then this guy started at the same time, a collection of readings that looks like 2025, but it's not. It's 2023, Year of the Rabbit. And I started doing collage after a tarot reading. So like there was the card, there was the totem, the focus, and then a little message about it. And then I would pull images that seemed to sort of speak to me about that particular reading. So this was all tarot card related. And I liked that. It was a lot of fun. But I end up stalling out on this because very shortly after I start this one ended up upside down for some strange reason. Very shortly after I start this book, we had our flood at the house. And that definitely put a stall in creating. I mean, for one thing, we had to pack up all our stuff, didn't we? We had to replace every single floor in the house. And so for a few months, things were a mess. And then I kind of get back to it. That's a cute one. But here would be a message about the actual reading, the card, and what the messaging was. This, of course, some of you will recognize as the cover photo from this channel. I really loved this reading. Did some extra notes about that. You probably have seen this artwork on my maybe Instagram page or something. So I might get back into this. Again, it's kind of literal collage, just in that it's about specifics of my tarot card readings. And that's really not what I do. So then this gets picked back up in January of this year. This is a new one. So yeah, I may dive back into that some. I may just turn it into nothing but collage. Who knows? But the short story is that those big books do fit in a traveler's notebook passport, standard passport cover. It's just, I think they're not playing well with others. And so I think I'll just keep this one, the collage version, and I may try to get my hands on this a little bit more, soften them up more, and maybe complete both of those books. And I'll keep you posted on how that goes. So here is the craft room table, and I recognize that it's attractive. It looks pretty in that setup. But the reality is that I was having trouble accessing stuff. I could sit on that one edge there, and then I couldn't reach anything else on the table. It was all 3 or 4 feet away from my short little arms. So what I did was open it out. I just popped it out into an L shape and gave myself really full access to both sides. And it has been a game changer. I'm super, super happy with this change. I think it went really well, and I will keep you posted on how that works out for me. But so far, I'm giving that a thumbs up, good move. It was just kind of a little engineering. Well, I hope you are passport fulfilled after that video. Like I said in the beginning, I really loved having that passport next to the couch last night. It's just like a security blanket. I think that's what I was trying to say in the video. I think I call it something else, a comfort blanket or something. I meant like security blanket. It feels good to me to have this in my hand and near me at all times. So I want to show you this bag, but I'm going to get my cards out first. And I've shared with you guys before the deck that I love, Luminal Forest by MJ Cullinan. And it's her website where I ordered this bag that is also her artwork. And there were several animals to choose from, but the stag has a really profound meaning for me right now in my life. And interestingly, saying that, I have pulled this card with this stag on it. I think I looked, because I write down, when I pull a card and I look up the meaning of it in a book, I write down the date that I pulled the card also. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've pulled that 5 times in the last 3 months, something like that. It comes up again and again. And then also today, I pulled another card that was Stag Spirit. Can you see that? Get me out of it. So stags come up for me all the time. The card we're going to pull today, the deck that we're going to pull from today, is this little Colette Baron Reed Spirit Animal Pocket or Oracle. So it's the Spirit Animal Oracle, but it's just the pocket size. It's a little one, and I've pulled from you guys from this deck before. As I've mentioned here before, sometimes when I pull a card that has an animal as its totem, which all of these do, it's an animal oracle. But even say like in a standard tarot, if somebody's done artwork that they've chosen an animal to represent something, I often will look up the animal's meaning as well. So I'll read the card, but then I'll also figure out, like, look up in animal speak or one of those significance of that specific animal. So let's see. Let's pull a card and see where we go. And today we got, I love this one. I've gotten this before. Badger Spirit. Cover me and show it to you. Badger Spirit. The number on the card is 4. I do not know a lot about numerology, but I can tell you that 10s seem to be pretty powerful in my world. And a lot of times 10s come up with a number that, like, you'll get a 28 and the 2 and the 8 together make 10. So I do kind of look at the number just to see. Maybe one day I'll get more into numerology. Let's read about Badger Spirit. Be fearless and bold. The Oracle message. Badger Spirit rejoices at your persistence and commitment to what is true for you. Whatever you seek, your tenacity and faith in your partnership with Spirit is paying off, and the results will soon coalesce into form. The gift of Badger Spirit is the surety that taking a risk now and being courageous, fearless, and bold will yield wondrous results. This is a time to harness your will and apply it consistently to the pursuit of your dreams. You will manifest your desires in divine timing and in the form that Spirit deems best for you. Badger Spirit says you have what it takes to get what you want. Be fearless and be bold as your purpose calls you. New relationships are also given a green light now. Don't be afraid to make the first move. Badger Spirit loves your brave and mighty heart. When Badger Spirit comes to protect you, he reminds you that anger or aggression, argumentative behavior, and being pushy or manipulative will not result in a positive outcome. Perhaps someone close to you has excess Badger energy, or perhaps that energy is pent up in you. Either way, now is the time to calm down and allow the energy to pass through you. Go for a hike or a brisk walk, shake it off, or dance it out so you can return to the situation determined and committed, but not so intense that you overwhelm others and yourself. The appearance of Badger Spirit also serves as a reminder. If you have been relentlessly pursuing something that keeps eluding you, this message is that it's time to surrender it to your higher power and focus on something else. Badger Spirit wants to protect you from self-will run rampant. Remember, The world doesn't revolve around your wants. Better, more beautiful opportunities will be the result when you release some of that Badger spirit intensity along with your need to have it your way. Cool card, Badger Spirit. I have linked before here Renee with True Path Tarot. I listen to her readings pretty much every day of the week. I really like her. And so much of her readings in the last probably 5 or 6 weeks have been about pursuing dreams. It's time to reach goals. There seems to be something almost planetary happening about an alignment that is saying it is time to throw away fear. It is time to step away from what's not working and move into what you've always known as your calling. And that message is clearly being read to multiple people. If it's a YouTube channel and she's reading that message to 25,000 people, I feel like there is something in the universe that is saying that to all of us. And this deck lately has just been every day I pull a card that further says, follow your dreams, follow your dreams. Carefully, listen to spirit, try not to get too lost in self-will, but go for it. And that message is there for you too. So I hope you enjoyed our video today. Let me know about your passport setup, what you're doing, what's working for you, what tools you have and love. And if you have any questions about anything I used, you can put them in the comments and I'll be happy to share links to anything that I didn't. Okay, I have to go do my floors, boo. Looking forward to next time. Shoot, there was something I was going to tell you about our next vid. Oh, well, it'll come to me while I'm vacuuming. I'm super happy you were here. Thanks for joining me. I hope you're having a beautiful, beautiful fall, and be kind to yourself. And I'll look forward to seeing you next time.